It's time for a little rant just between us, just between you and me, podcaster to podcaster. I've got to get this off my chest because the more I think about it, the more it drives me crazy. That is not good for anyone. Y'all, there's this huge thing that's happening that nobody is seeing, and I'm losing my mind because they're missing it. Welcome to the show, friends. My name is Leighton Hart. This is Podcasting for Fun and Profit. This is where we talk about the latest in how to grow an audience for your podcast, how to craft your podcast in a way that listeners will love, and how to have fun and make a little money in the process. So let's get into it. This week for me has been something of a matrix moment where I saw something for some reason that not everyone is seeing. And now, not only can I not unsee it, but I feel this insane urgency to do something about it, to pounce on this thing and just really gobble up a bunch of territory in this one area. So I'm going to go on a little rant here, but it's not aimed at you, dear listener. This is not aimed at you, my podcasting friends. Instead, this is aimed at small businesses, solopreneurs, even bigger brands too. If you're a marketer for a company with a budget to buy ads, I'm speaking directly to you. And if you're a business owner who can't figure out how to make the cash register ring more often, also, I'm speaking directly to you. Deep breath, here goes. Okay. Help me understand why you're not buying ads on podcasts. How, in the year 2022, are you not sending at least a little bit of your advertising budget to podcast ads? When I think about the opportunity that you're missing, I'm completely dumbfounded. Here's why. Most of us are spending a lot of time creating social posts. Your social posts aren't working. There's lots of reasons for that, not the least of which is that the algorithms are working against you. Facebook and Instagram are not your friends. They're working against you. You are out there grinding to get followers, thinking that if you get more followers, the income will start flowing. But Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they are actively hiding your posts. You're spending hours in Canva making social posts that no one will ever see, much less respond to. And then what do you get for all that effort, all that hard work, all that creativity? What do you get for all that? Your big reward for doing all that, for showing up day after day to perform for Facebook and Instagram, is a measly 6% reach. That's right. All those people in your audience, all those people who have one by one taken the time to follow your pages, to raise their hands and say, yes, we want content from this person. Yes, show me their stuff. Out of 100 of those people, Facebook and Instagram are only going to let 6 out of every 100 people see your stuff. So stop thinking that doing social the way you've been doing social is going to save you. There's more to it than that. There's levels to this game. Now let me tell you why I'm so hot about why you need to advertise on podcasts. Let's talk about YouTube first. On average, people spend about 40 minutes a day on YouTube. And since marketers know that YouTube viewers are going to stick around for a while, since they're going to be attentive for 40 minutes, those marketers are dumping buckets of money into YouTube ads. In fact, in 2021, advertisers spent $28.8 billion slinging their products and services on YouTube. Over at Instagram, where a lot of us spend a lot of time and put a lot of effort into creating content for Instagram, users there spend about 28 minutes a day. And advertisers know that they can find their people there. And consequently, they spent $27 billion advertising to people on Instagram. And there's no sign of that slowing down in 2022. These numbers are only going up. Meanwhile, let's switch over to Spotify. Something's happening at Spotify that's completely different, and everyone is sleeping on this. Everyone is sleeping on this, and that's why I'm so fired up about this today. Over at Spotify, people spend an average of 2.6 hours a day with their Spotify app working. More than 2.5 hours a day streaming music and podcasts from Spotify. And the typical Spotify podcast listener spends over 40 minutes every day listening to their favorite shows. But comparatively, marketers aren't showing up with their money to advertise on podcasts. In fact, Spotify brought in just a paltry $1.16 billion in ad sales last year. That pales in comparison to what YouTube and Instagram pulled in. Now, $1 billion is still a fortune, but it's so small compared to Instagram and YouTube, what they're collecting for ads. And what's really crazy about all this, there's so much money flowing into YouTube, so much money flowing Instagram, and relatively very little money flowing into Spotify for podcast ads, but podcast listeners are better customers. Podcast listeners are higher earners, meaning they have more money to buy more of your stuff, which helps you reach your sales goals, which helps you pay for your beach vacation this summer. Podcast listeners are more diverse, which means your products and services can infiltrate new communities, new groups of people. And they're more responsive to ads, which means they will actually look you up and go buy your stuff. And dear marketer, if you're spending any money on billboard ads or newspaper ads, we need to have an intervention. Yes, the billboard companies can tell you how many cars are passing each day. They can tell you about the neighborhoods or the business districts where their signs are. And yes, the newspaper can tell you some basics about who subscribes to their paper. I'll give you a hint. It's an older crowd. But podcast advertising is in another league. You can target your podcast ads by things like age, gender, and location, but you can also target deeply based on their specific interest. So if I'm the marketing director for, let's call it a yoga studio, I can target, if I wanted to target women in their late 30s in my zip code who are into healthy lifestyles, I can target only those people. I can show up only in front of those people. If I'm an event planner planning a big music festival, something like that, I can target, let's say, everyone within a day's drive of the festival that likes music, travel, and the outdoors. How much better does your marketing become when you're pinpointing the exact people that you want to buy from you with an attractive offer that you know that they are highly likely to buy? Okay, I've got to wrap this rant up. But let me say this again as clearly as I can. If you're a marketer with an ad budget and you're not placing podcast ads, you need to take a hard look at whether you're doing right by your organization. You have millions of diverse, well-educated, and best of all, attentive prospects at your fingertips, and you can target them with incredible precision and affordability. I'll say it again. If you want better results, you need to be placing podcast ads. Now, if you are that marketer, don't worry. I've made a resource for you that can take the mystery out of buying podcast ads. I put together a podcast advertising blueprint for busy marketers. It's linked in the description for this podcast and video. Go grab your copy right now. Okay, exhale, end of rant. Now let me turn back to you, fellow podcaster. What do you think? Do you think I should encourage more brands to buy podcast ads like I'm trying to do here? Or should I keep my mouth shut and just let podcasts continue to be the best kept secret that just a very short list of major brands are investing in? What do you think? Let me know what you think, and be sure to, when you come back next time, you want to be here because I'm going to talk about how podcast ads could actually be a secret hack to get more listeners for your podcast. I'll unpack that strategy next time. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again next week.